Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing amazingly well. Welcome back to another lesson of English with Ashish, and today in this lesson we are going to talk about something really exciting, something really interesting, something that a lot of us get confused with. Today we're understanding the difference between a few and few, and also understand how to use the few. So we'll understand how to use a few, few and the few, and how these are connected and what's the difference if there is any. The lesson is going to be interesting. I'm excited. I know you guys are too. Let's do this. Alright guys, now let's understand how to use few, a few and the few. Let me start with saying that all these expressions mean a small number of something, a small number of people or things. They're used with a plural noun, right? They can function as an adjective or a pronoun. These are quantifiers, right? These can function as an adjective, all right? And these can also function as a pronoun. But these expressions mean a small number of something, a plural noun, okay? Now, let's understand the difference between few and a few with a certain context. So we have a sentence here. If we have a statement by John, and let's just read that. All right, let's do it. So John says, let's assume John says this to me. All right, John, you make amazing potato fries. Ashish, could you make some right now? Could you make me some right now? You make amazing potato fries. Could you make me some right now? Now, I have two answers. And I've used a few and few in my answers for you guys to understand the difference, right? Okay, answer number one. Here I say, sure, John, sure. I've got a few potatoes in the fridge. I can make some. I've got a few potatoes in the fridge. I can make some. In the second answer, I say, actually, I've got I's missing here. So let's just put I here. Actually, I've got few potatoes in the store. You would have to bring some from the market for me to make fries. Now, I just said that both a few and few and also the few mean a small number of something. So what is the difference between this example, this answer, and then this answer? See guys, the meaning is very simple. The difference is very simple. A few is used when the connotation is positive. When the number is small, but it's enough for the context, for the situation where you are in. All right, it is enough. The speaker uses it positively. All right. And when the speaker is not positive about the quantity, when the number is small and it's not enough for the situation, for the context where it is used, we use few. That is the only difference between a few and few. All right. So when I say, sure, I've got a few potatoes in the fridge, I can make some. Of course, it's a small number of potatoes, right? Small number of potatoes. They're not many, they're a few. Let's just call them some, okay? But they're enough for the context. I can make some potato fries with them. So I'm positive about the quantity that I have, which is not many, a small number of potatoes, but they're enough for the time being. But when I say, actually, I've got few potatoes without the article, indefinite article a. When I say I've got few potatoes in the store, I'm not really positive about the quantity. That's not actually enough. They're way too less. All right. So this is the difference between few and a few. So let's write it down as well. A few, a small number, a small quantity of people or things or something else, a plural noun, right? But enough for the situation where it is used, right? The speaker uses it positively, right? Few, same, it's the same, but not enough for the time being. That is the only difference between a few and few. Of course, these are followed by a plural noun, very important to note. Okay. Now let's look at another example to understand this better. So here somebody says, hi Ashish, there is some renovation work going on in my class. Could you let my students sit in your class? So one of the teachers at the institute where I teach, right, comes to me and says, hi Ashish, there is some renovation work going on in my class, right? Could you let my students sit in your class? And what do I say? Let's see that. I give the person two answers, right? Answer number one. Hi John, I wouldn't be able to accommodate all your students. I have few vacant seats in my class. So I say, John, I wouldn't be able to accommodate all your students. I've got few without a. I've got few vacant seats in my class. And the second answer I give is, sure John, I have a few vacant seats in my class. Now you guys know what I mean by few and a few here. In the first example, I'm not really positive about the number of seats, vacant seats that I have in my class, right? They're very less. And these number of seats are not going to be enough for me to accommodate all the students of this teacher, right? So I'm not really positive about the number, and that is why I'm using few. So when you are not positive about the quantity, when you feel the quantity is not enough for the time being, for the situation, right, just use few. But when you are positive about the quantity, though it's small in number, it's always going to be more than two. It's always going to be more than two, right? Few, a few, the few, always more than two. It's small in number, but it's positive. It's something you are positive about it. You're using it positively. All right. Use a few, like I did in the second answer. Sure, John, I have a few vacant seats in my class. Sure, let them in. All right. So now we know the difference between a few and few. So we'll do one more thing. We'll look at more examples of both a few and few. Okay. And I will change the color of this pen because I really want to. Let's make it yellow. All right. Example number one. A few. All right. I have a few unused dresses in the wardrobe. You can take one if you want to. So somebody's come to me and they're looking for a dress, and I say, I've got a few unused dresses in the wardrobe. You can take one if you want to. A few. I'm positive. It's not many. It's some, right? A few, maybe 4, 5 or 3 or whatever, more than 2. But I'm positive about it. That's going to be enough for you, right? Second example. The company needs a few people to handle its social handles. The company needs a few people, right? Not many, but the company is positive about it, right? It's not negligible quantity, right? It's some. The company needs a few people to handle its social handles. Okay, that's how we use a few. Now let's look at some examples of few. I have nowhere to go. I know few people in the city, right? So let's just say you meet a friend and the person asks you to go somewhere with him, and you say, hey, I'm busy, man. I mean, why don't you take your friends? Why don't you go out with your friends? And the person says, I have nowhere to go. A, I have nowhere to go. B, I know few people in the city. So the person doesn't know a lot of people. It's almost as good as zero. All right, that's what the person means. I know few people. As good as none. Okay, we now have few days to pay the rent. We now have few days, just few days. All right, meaning almost as good as nothing, right? We have now few days. So the speaker is not really positive about the number of days that they have in order to pay the rent. That's how we use few. So now we understand how to use a few, and also the difference between the both. Okay, let's do one thing now. Let's understand how to use the few. And before we understand how to use the few, we need to understand what it means. So the few means the specific number of people or things, or the plural noun, that is small. Whatever the number that we both understand, we know all of it. It's not many, it's not great, It's a small number of something, but it's particular. We both, the speaker and the listener, know. All right. And it could be, it's very important to note this, it could be used positively or negatively in a sentence. You just mean whatever that number is, which is small, right? Whatever the number is that we both are aware of, we're referring to that number, right? And we can use it positively or negatively, however you want to use it in a sentence. All right. Let me show you an example to make you understand this better. We can't make any dish with the few food items that are there in the fridge. So we live together, right? And you ask me to prepare something. So I go, hey, we can't make any dish. We can't make anything with the few food items. Whatever the number of items that are there in the fridge, but they're very small in number. So the few food items, meaning whatever the number of items, all the number of items that are there in the fridge, but also means it's small in quantity. It is not huge, right? The number is not big, it's small, but whatever, all of them. Okay. We can't make any dish with the food items that are, with the few food items that are there in the fridge. We can't make any dish with the few items. We can't make any dish with the few food items that are there in the fridge. All right. Now let's take another example. You can bring the few friends you have. So I say this to you. I know you don't know a lot of people. You've told me that you don't know a lot of people. So I say whatever the number of people that you know, which is small that I know. The number is small that I already know. You've told me, you told me this once, right? I'm aware of this. So I say, whatever the number is, bring them all of them, right? I'm making them particular, all of them. You can bring the few friends you have, all of the friends that you have, which is a small number, right? You can bring them here. Okay. So I can mean it positively as well. So I can mean it positively as well as negatively. You can bring the few people you have. I can be positive about it. I can be negative about it as well. So it depends on my connotation, the meaning I want to give as a speaker when I use it. All right. So we now know how to use the few, a few, and few. All right. Now a couple of important points for you guys to note. We probably already know this, but we'll again revise this. Number one. And I want to change the color of the pen, man. Let me do this. All right, be nice, you guys. Okay, red it is. Okay, number one, we use a plural noun after the quantifiers few, a few, and the few. Okay, we use a plural noun. Number two, we can use them as an adjective or as a pronoun. So in all of these examples, you've used these expressions as an adjective. You can see that. The few friends, so we have a noun after it, so it's modifying the noun. In the previous example also, you can see it's modifying items, which is a noun, again working as an adjective. I can show you more examples. See, few days. All right, few days, so again working as an adjective, modifying the noun days. Few, again people, modifying the noun people. All right, but as I said, it can be used as an adjective as well as a pronoun, and let me show you how to do that. So we've already seen these expressions used as an adjective. Now let's see a couple of examples of these expressions being used as a pronoun. So let's do it. Many people came to see you in the morning. A few are still waiting in the cafeteria. Right? Many people, or more than 100 people, came to see you in the morning. A few are still waiting in the cafeteria. A few. I've used it as the subject of this sentence. A few are still waiting in the cafeteria. And see, it's being used as a plural subject because it means more than two. All right. I can also say a few of them. Still, it's a pronoun. A few of them are still waiting in the cafeteria. I can also say, if I'm not positive about the number, I can say few are still waiting in the cafeteria. Okay. So we can also use these expressions as a pronoun as well. There are more examples on the website www.englishwithashish.com, and the post on how to use a few, and the few is available on the website as well. I'll share the link in the description, right? So guys, that's all about the video. That's all about the lesson. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new. If you did, that's great, man. That's great. Hit the like button. If you guys are new to the channel, haven't subscribed to the channel, do that. Subscribe to the channel and press that notification button so that every single time I come up with a video, you get notified and you get to watch it right away. And if you have any question, any doubt, do let me know in the comment section below. I would love to answer your questions too. And I'll see you guys very soon. Till then, keep learning, have fun. I am out. Bye bye.